Good morning. Goodness, what are the odds I'm going to get through this thing? For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Redmond, and I am Tom and Maggie's oldest son. If your name is Wilkerson or Humphrey or Fire or Rock, if you're one of our family's lifelong friends, then you know what I'm about to tell you. But for some of you, you may not know this about the Redmond family. Tom and Maggie Redmond adopted 6 children from 1961 to 1970. We have an older sister, Mary. And she is my parents' only birth child, or as we referred to her growing up, their only biological child. I'm the first adopted sibling. I was adopted in 1961. And then my sister, Joan, our brother, Mark, our brother, Paul, and our sister, Annie, and our sister, Jean. We're the Redmonds. The question that I asked myself over the past few weeks was, how does one eulogize one's father? One of the greatest gifts that my father gave to me was 16 years of private Catholic education. I attended St. Thomas More. I went to Rockhurst High School when Father Burton was president, and then I attended the University of Dallas. So as not to disappoint my father for the education that he gave me, I went to the dictionary and I looked up the word eulogize. And here's what it says. It's a formal expression of praise. Now, the interesting thing to me was the word death wasn't mentioned until the second definition. Maybe we don't do enough eulogizing while people are still alive. And then I thought, I wonder what the precise definition of the word praise is. And that's when it dawned on me, Father Burton goes to me. So I looked up that word. And praise means an expression of approval, commendation, and admiration. And I know what some of you are thinking. He is not going to stand up there and tell us about 3 English words in the dictionary. What I'd like to share with you today is what I observed of my father. And instead of starting with my childhood, I would like to start with when I was an adult. As we've heard today, my father was a lifelong real estate developer and builder here in South Kansas City, and I had the privilege of building houses with my father from 1986 until 1995. And we were working on a custom-built home for a client, and it was very early on in the process. And I was approached by a couple of the crews or subcontractors that were doing work for us. And without going into too much detail, they asked me to do something that was not really above board. And so I went back to the office and I told my father about it. And I'll never forget what my father said. My father looked at me and he said, "John, is that something you want to do?" And I said, "No, Dad, it's not what I want." And he said, "Then don't do it." I'll never forget it because he let me make that decision for myself. He didn't tell me what to do. So, a couple of weeks ago when I was on my way to visit him, I had the opportunity to drive through some of the subdivisions that he developed, some of the neighborhoods in which he built, places like Red Ridge South, Verona Hills, Verona Gardens, Santa Fe Farm, Adair Main or Ashford Place, and even Holman. And I thought to myself, is this my father's legacy? And certainly it's part of it. It's certainly part of what my father left behind. But, again, what did I observe? I never remember my father introducing himself by saying, "Hi, I'm Tom Redmond, and I help develop South Kansas City." That would have been a little braggadocious for my dad. It just wasn't his style. Now, as we all saw last night, and again here this morning, my parents have a great deal of praise. Thank you all for coming today to celebrate my father's life. Thank you very much for waiting online last night to offer your words of kindness and condolence to my family. It's greatly appreciated. So as I was standing here last night, greeting all of you and remembering all of you from my childhood, again I thought to myself, this is my father's legacy. And certainly it is. You all have a great many wonderful memories of my father that you cherish. And then as a child, I remember my father, when I went here to St. Thomas More and when I went on to Rogers, I remember my father got up every day and he went to 6:20 Mass. And there was a time, I think I was in the 8th grade, I'm still here at St. Thomas More. And we were going around the dinner table at night and my father was asking us what we were going to do for Lent. And I sat to my father's right, so I was last in the rotation. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying desperately to come up with something that would please my father. And when it came my turn, my father looked at me and said, "Oh, John, I already know what you're doing." And I told Father that he would serve 6:20 Mass. He said, "Don't worry, I'll get you up." So as my niece Joni said last night, Tom Redmond was a man of great faith. And we all know that for the last 10 years, my father has been the executive director of the charitable organization Christmas October. And let me see if I can get this right. Their mission, the mission of Christmas in October as an organization, is to help the elderly, disabled, and underprivileged live in warm, safe, and clean housing. And there are stories of people going into urban neighborhoods, inner city neighborhoods, and mentioning my father's name. And the residents of that neighborhood will say, "Oh, Father, he's man of his arm." So I asked myself when I was preparing these remarks last night, again, I said, "Is this my father's legacy?" And certainly it is. My father's a man of great faith, great love for all of you, his friends, a man of charity and integrity, and he's certainly an inspiration to all of us. But again, I have to say, I have to share with you what I observed. I never heard my father introduce himself by putting out his hand and saying, "Hi, I'm Tom Redmond, I'm a man of great faith, and I have a giant charitable heart." So what did I observe? How did my father refer to himself when he introduced himself? What did he say? What did he say? He said, "Hi, I'm Tom Redmond, and I have 7 kids." My father would put his hand out when he met you and he would say, "Hi, I'm Tom Redmond and I have 7 kids." That's how he referred to himself. So yes, my father's legacy is his integrity, his love for all of you, his faith in our Lord, and his charitable works. But the greatest gift my father ever gave to me was the gift of family. The gift of all of you. My wife, Gail, and I are not blessed with children, but we have 25 nieces and nephews. And I have 4 wonderful sisters and 2 wonderful